Hi friends, this is Olga from Laskastromwellness. As some of you may know, today is Imbolc, so I thought I would put together a guided meditation practice that we can do to kind of embody this time of year and truly reflect on what's going on out there, bring it in here. So for those of you who don't know what Imbolc is, I'm just going to talk a bit about it. Imbolc is one of the four main cross-quarter fire festivals of the ancient Celts, the other three being Beltane, Lammas, and Samhain. So it's a cross-quarter day. What does that mean? That means we are at the halfway point between the winter solstice and the spring equinox. So there is this sense of turning of the wheel, there is this sense of transition that we're going through, going from one season to the next. It's a very fertile time. This is the time traditionally in Ireland and Scotland and the British Isles where this is the first signs of spring are starting to show. The earth underneath the frost and this ice and the snow is starting to stir, starting to thaw, and starting to become fertile. And the goddess Bridget is celebrated at this time, who is also largely taken to signify fertility. So it's a very fertile time. Traditionally, it would be, like I said, a fire festival. So a great bonfire would be prepared and the community would come together in front of the bonfire and sing, and there would be merriment. It was just a celebration of the shifting of the seasons. Which is so beautiful. So what does this mean for us? Well, Imbolc means, or translates rather, to in the belly. So this definitely translates to fertility for us, big time, but it also translates to coming out into the world, leaving behind the comfortable hibernation we were kind of hiding behind since winter has come. That's kind of the origins of Groundhog Day, actually, which I believe is tomorrow, is we're coming out of the dark half of the year. We're moving towards the light half of the year, which is awesome. It's a celebration of new life, new beginnings. And for us, that means the birth of new possibilities, new ways of thinking, new positive behaviors, leaving behind any insecurity, leaving behind those dark parts of ourselves that we have taken this winter to work on, and letting them kind of go, because we're releasing the darkness, we're releasing that introspective time, we're releasing that time of I need to focus on within. It's now about coming without. So our guided meditation practice is going to be mostly guided visualization and reflection on the self and bringing the good qualities of ourself out, embracing ourselves, and preparing to show what we've been working on, show that part of ourselves that has developed to the world, showing those things that we really want to express about ourselves to the world, and not hiding anymore, not hiding in our caves, right? Like the bear who hibernates through the winter. This is about coming out into the new year, the new life cycle of this year. So for our guided meditation, we're gonna go ahead and get started. So you may want to find a comfortable position. I'm just gonna sit back in my chair and close down the eyes, turning the awareness inward towards the body, into the body, connecting with the breath, pulling a breath deep down into the belly, and releasing it, like we're releasing these dark times, releasing the winter months. Breathing in Noticing any sensations that are present in the body, not judging them in any way, just noticing that they're there. Seeing things within as they truly are. Getting past the chattiness of the mind, getting past the distractions to the core of who we are deep down. Not being caught up on what we were doing or thinking before. Not getting preoccupied with what we might be doing after. Simply being here now. Continuing to keep anchored with the breath. Noticing the sensation of the breath as it comes down the nostrils, the throat, filling the lungs, filling the belly, and fully experiencing the sensation of the breath leaving the body, exiting the belly, exiting the chest, coming out into the world. I want you to start to imagine a giant garden in your mind's eye. It's the winter season though, so this garden is looking rather bare. It's looking very covered with snow, with ice. All the leaves on the trees are gone. All the bushes are bare. The plants are bare. There's this stillness that just surrounds you as you stand in the middle of this garden. And as you look at this garden, you would start to think that there's no life here. Everything's just dead and barren. But there is something stirring beneath the snow, beneath the frost. The seeds that were placed there by their perennial parents in the fall time are now starting to come to life as the earth starts to thaw and the snow and the ice starts to melt. You see that the sun is starting to rise up into the sky, into the clear blue sky. And the light from the sun is just radiating through the whole garden, permeating your vision, reflecting off the white snow. You can feel the warmth of the sun as it crawls onto your skin. Remembering that familiar feeling of sun, of life, of vibrance. And as the sun starts to get higher and higher in the sky, you notice that the snow and the ice that was, covering everything as it like a blanket is starting to slowly thaw and start to dissipate. The icicles hanging off the branches of the trees are melting and dripping. And you're watching as the snow melts, becoming water, becoming absorbed by the earth, making it a fertile ground, fertile soil. The new life is just forming. You can't even see it yet. You can tell, though, that it's stirring. You can feel it. You can feel the vibration against your feet as you stand there in this garden. Finally, you see that all the snow and all the ice has been melted away. The sun is at the top of its power, high in the sky. And now that the snow has melted and turned into water and been absorbed by the earth, you can feel more vibration with your feet. You can feel the vibration of that seed that was planted start to just pulsate with life. The very, very beginnings of life. That seed has been fertilized. It's been nurtured. This whole winter long, it's been held by the earth in hiding, preparing it for the emergence of spring. And now that the first signs of spring, the first horizons of spring are starting to be noticed, this seed has gotten its signal that it's time to come up and out into the world. You can imagine that this seed is you. This seed is the you that was brewing and preparing and being nurtured all winter. The you that is ready to come out now and leave behind the darkness, leave behind the shelter. You're ready to come up and out, and you see that this seed is cracking open and the life is pushing against this moistened soil, this fertile soil. And you see that the soil is starting to crack and break apart, and the seedling pokes his head up out of the soil, getting its first grasp of what it is like to be above the earth, to be up and out, to be in the world, not below it. It's getting its first breath of fresh air, its first sensation of sunlight, and it's thriving. You see this seedling just start to grow up and up, slowly coming up from the soil, pointing up, reaching toward the sun, its source of life. The seed, it doesn't need to flourish into something big and beautiful yet. Now is not the time for it to be in its abundant state. Now is not the time for it to be in its mature state. No one is expecting that from this seed, and neither should you. Expect only what is right in its right timing for this seed. Now it's time for just simply making the first step of coming into one's own, coming into one's truth, and being content with the fact that that seedling doesn't need to be a big tree yet. Being content with the fact that this little seedling can stay as a seedling for some time before it's time to transition again and move on. But now is not the time for that. Just rest with this feeling of acceptance, this feeling of being comfortable with simply saying, "Hello world, this is my face." You don't have to like it. You don't have to really think anything of it. But simply know that this is me. And I'm not hiding anymore. I'm coming out. I'm being me. I'm being the best version of me that I have to date. Maybe there'll be a better me in 6 months, but I don't have to worry about that. I just have to worry about being the best me that I can be right now. Slowly start to come back to your body, to the present. You can start fluttering your eyes open or moving your fingers and toes, coming back to awareness. I hope that resonated with you, friends, and I hope that you felt that you could use this time of year, this time of the wheel, this time of a seasonal change to bring change down in here, to mirror the outside inside, because our bodies are microcosms. There is no difference between the outside and the inside. And when we truly understand that and realize that, it's a beautiful, beautiful way to come into oneness with everything. So I hope you felt that oneness in this meditation practice. Namaste.